The year 2026 is honestly looking absolutely stacked for returning anime sequels. Some of the biggest fan-favorite series are finally coming back with new seasons, final arcs, larger battles, and storylines that manga readers have been waiting years to see animated. And trust me, some of the anime on this list could completely dominate the anime community the second they release. So if you've been wondering what returning anime series deserve all of your hype in 2026, then sit back because these sequels are about to go crazy. Starting off at number 10, we have Sasaki and Peeps Season 2. Now, this anime honestly surprised a lot more people than expected because at first glance, it just looks like some random office worker fantasy anime. But the deeper it goes, the crazier things actually become. The story follows Sasaki, who is just a tired middle-aged salaryman trying to make his boring life a little less depressing, so he randomly buys a pet bird. Sounds normal enough, right? Well, the problem is that the bird turns out to be an incredibly powerful sage from another world who gives him magical powers and the ability to travel between worlds. And from there, things just spiral completely out of control. One moment, Sasaki is dealing with Fantasy Kingdom politics. Then suddenly he's getting dragged into psychic organizations, supernatural incidents, government conspiracies, and all kinds of weird situations that just keep escalating. What makes this anime really fun is how unpredictable it feels. It constantly changes genres every few episodes, and honestly, you never fully know where the story is going next. Plus, for people who are tired of teenage protagonists and want an older main character for once, this one definitely hits differently. Coming in at number 9, we have Dark Gathering Season 2. And man, if you enjoy horror anime that actually feels disturbing, then this sequel is probably going to be one of the best things coming in 2026. Dark Gathering follows Keitaro, a guy cursed with attracting ghosts and supernatural entities, basically everywhere he goes. But after meeting Yayoi, who was honestly one of the creepiest anime kids I've seen in a while, he gets dragged into capturing and fighting increasingly terrifying spirits. And the scary part is that these ghosts are not treated like jokes at all. Some of them are genuinely horrifying. Season 1 already had some nightmare fuel moments, but Season 2 is where the story starts diving into much darker paranormal encounters and way more dangerous supernatural threats. What I personally enjoy most about this anime is just the tension. You constantly feel like something terrible is about to happen, and the spirits they encounter become more unpredictable and disturbing the deeper the story goes. Plus, unlike a lot of horror anime that lose momentum after a few episodes, this one honestly keeps getting better the further it continues. At number 8, we have A Returner's Magic Should Be Special Season 2. This anime delivers one of the most satisfying second chance progression stories out there. The story follows a man who survives until the very end of a catastrophic future where humanity basically gets wiped out after failing to clear the Shadow Labyrinth. But right before dying, he suddenly gets sent back in time years into the past with all of his memories still intact. And instead of wasting the opportunity, he immediately starts preparing for the disasters that he knows are eventually coming. What makes this anime enjoyable is that Desir isn't some ridiculously broken protagonist who wins everything effortlessly. He relies heavily on strategy, experience, preparation, and knowledge from his previous life. And honestly, that makes the fights feel way more engaging because he constantly has to outthink enemies stronger than himself. Season 2 is expected to continue building toward larger-scale magic battles and even more dangerous situations, as Desir tries to completely rewrite the future before humanity reaches total destruction again. And honestly, anime with time travel done well are always satisfying to watch because every decision actually feels important. Moving into number 7, we have Trapped in a Dating Sim Season 2. Now, this anime is honestly hilarious because Leon genuinely wants absolutely nothing to do with the world around him, yet somehow keeps becoming one of the most important people in the entire kingdom anyway. The story follows a guy who reincarnates into a dating simulator world where society is heavily unfair toward ordinary men unless they're rich nobles or main story characters. But unlike everyone else, Leon knows exactly how the game world works, and he starts using that knowledge to gain power, manipulate situations, and completely break the original story progression. What makes this anime fun is Leon's personality. He's sarcastic, constantly annoyed, and honestly just wants people to leave him alone. But every single time he tries to stay uninvolved, he somehow ends up humiliating arrogant nobles, exposing corruption, or completely ruining somebody's plans. Season 2 is expected to continue the political drama, relationships, and larger conflicts surrounding the kingdom, while Leon accidentally becomes even more influential than before. And to be honest, the combination of comedy, world building, and overpowered strategy just makes the series way more entertaining than people expect. Halfway through the list at number 6, we have I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World, and became unrivaled in the real world too, Season 2. Now, this anime is pure fantasy fulfillment, but honestly, that's exactly why so many people enjoy it. The story follows Yuya, a boy who spent most of his life getting bullied, insulted, and treated horribly by almost everyone around him. But after discovering a mysterious portal inside his grandfather's house, he gains access to another world where he can level up, obtain overpowered abilities, and completely transform himself physically and mentally. And unlike many isekai anime, his growth actually affects both worlds. So now he's not only becoming insanely powerful in fantasy battles, but he's also fixing his real-world life at the same time. Season 2 is expected to continue introducing stronger enemies, larger threats, and more secrets connected to the mysterious world itself. What really makes this anime enjoyable is the progression. Watching someone who started from absolutely nothing slowly become admired, respected, powerful, and honestly kind of unstoppable is just really satisfying to watch. And let's be real here. The dude basically became the definition of a wish fulfillment protagonist. Breaking into the top 5, we have Date Alive final season. And honestly, it feels crazy that this series is finally reaching its conclusion after all these years. Date Alive follows Shido, a normal high school boy who discovers that massive disasters called spacequakes are caused by powerful spirits appearing in the world. But instead of defeating them through pure combat, his goal is to emotionally connect with them and seal their powers through relation. Which honestly sounds ridiculous at first, but somehow the series balances romance, comedy, action, and emotional storytelling way better than people expect. Over multiple seasons, Shido has built connections with many different spirits, while larger mysteries surrounding the world slowly continue unfolding in the background. But now, the final season is expected to push everything toward its biggest conflict yet. The emotional stakes are becoming much larger, major characters are returning, and longtime fans are probably preparing themselves for a pretty emotional ending. And honestly, if you follow this series for years, finally seeing the conclusion animated is going to hit differently. Coming in at number 4, we have Era Ferreta Season 4. Now this right here is one of the most classic revenge fantasy power progression anime out there. The story follows Hajime, who gets betrayed by one of his classmates during a dungeon expedition and falls into the deepest part of an abyss that should have killed him instantly. But instead of dying, he survives through absolute suffering and slowly transforms himself into something completely terrifying. By the time Hajime escapes the dungeon, he's no longer the weak, bullied student everyone used to look down on. He's now an overpowered monster slayer carrying ridiculous weapons and enough firepower to destroy almost anyone standing in his path. Season 4 is expected to continue expanding the world, introducing stronger enemies, and pushing Hajime toward even larger conflicts involving gods and the truth behind the world itself. What makes Era Ferreta enjoyable is honestly just the attitude. Hajime does not care anymore. He went through absolute hell, and now he handles problems with overwhelming force while everybody around him slowly realizes just how dangerous he actually became. And during the top 3, we have The Elusive Samurai Season 2. Now honestly, Season 1 already surprised a lot of people with how beautiful the animation and action looked, but Season 2 is expected to push things even further. The story follows Tokiyuki, a young lord who loses everything after his clan is betrayed and destroyed, but instead of becoming a typical revenge-driven warrior, his greatest strength is actually his ability to escape, survive, and outmaneuver enemies who should easily overpower him. As the story continues, Tokiyuki slowly begins building allies and growing stronger while preparing to reclaim what was taken from him. What makes this anime stand out so much is the unique mix of historical warfare, strategy, and emotional storytelling. Plus, the animation during the battle scenes honestly looks insane at times. And now that the conflicts are getting larger and more dangerous, Season 2 could easily become even better than the first. Taking the number 2 spot, we have From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman Season 2. And honestly, this anime became way more enjoyable than people originally expected. The story follows Beryl, an older swordsman living a quiet life in the countryside who suddenly gets dragged back into the spotlight after his former students become incredibly famous and influential knights. Despite acting humble and laid back most of the time, Beryl is secretly an absolute monster with the sword. And the funniest part is how casually he overwhelms opponents without even trying to show off. Season 2 is expected to continue introducing stronger enemies, larger political conflicts, and even more ridiculous moments where people slowly realize just how terrifying this old man actually is. What makes this anime so fun is the vibe. Instead of a loud, overpowered protagonists constantly screaming about strength, you get a calm, experienced master who unintentionally embarrasses everyone around him simply because of how skilled he really is. And finally, taking the number 1 spot, we have Saga of Tanya the Evil Season 2. And honestly, this is probably one of the most anticipated military fantasy anime sequels fans have been waiting years for. The story follows Tanya, a ruthless salaryman reincarnated into the body of a young girl inside a world consumed by magical warfare and massive military conflict. But despite looking like a child, Tanya is honestly one of the most terrifying commanders in the entire battlefield. She's cold, intelligent, manipulative, and absolutely ruthless when it comes to survival and war strategy. Season 2 is expected to continue escalating the global conflict while introducing even larger battles, stronger enemies, and more political chaos surrounding the Empire. What makes Saga of Tanya the Evil so addictive is how intense everything feels. The military tactics, aerial combat, and psychological warfare all combine into something that honestly feels completely different from normal isekai anime. And let's be real here, watching Tanya completely terrify entire armies while looking like a tiny little girl somehow never stops being entertaining. And there you have it, the top 10 most anticipated returning anime series coming in 2026. Honestly, next year is looking ridiculously stacked for anime fans with so many great sequels finally returning. From dark fantasy, survival, and supernatural horror to overpowered protagonists and emotional finales, there's seriously a ton of anime worth getting excited for. But out of every sequel on this list, which anime are you personally looking forward to the most? Let me know down below in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, then definitely leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future anime recommendation videos.